'Tis the season to be jolly, but the economy may have you feeling more like the Grinch who stole Christmas than old St. Nick.
Well, Michelle DeAngelis says you can walk around down in the dumps or you can put on a happy face. Michelle's the author of Get a Life That Doesn't Suck. Michelle, we're so glad to have you on the show.
Yes, every book that wants to sell has to have that word in the title these days, right?
It works.
There are so many books that encourage you to just be happy and see the world optimistically, but it's not really as easy as all that, is it?
No, it's not. And certainly there are people who have really trying external circumstances right now. I totally understand that. I think what's important to remember is, sure, you can't change the external circumstances, but you absolutely can manage what's happening internally to you.
And you say that by managing what happens internally to you, you then change your circumstances.
Yes.
How does that work?
Well, the first thing, so many people say, well, they made me do this, or I had to do that. And I had a really amazing revelation when I learned there's research that confirms when you get angry or you get upset, it is 6 hours until you are back to normal. So I
6
stopped.
hours?
6
And think
hours.
the wasted time
Because you're thinking about it. It's kicking around in your head.
Remember that guy that cuts you off on the freeway? We had to live with that for 6 days.
Longer. Yeah, I was mad.
Okay, well, so you're the exception to the research. But, I mean, your cortisol surges, your immune system is compromised, your adrenaline surges. Not good.
But I personally think people are wired a certain way. I think there are some people who wake up and look for what's wrong.
Some of it's nature,
yeah,
right?
Don't you think? I mean, and some people are more optimistic. They don't wake up in a bad mood. They choose not to.
Some people yodel.
Oh, you said...
And some people complain. There are just people like that.
Don't even get me started on the yodeling. Okay, I cannot sing my way out of a wet paper bag. But you nailed it when you said choose to, because that's really what it's about. Sure, there are people, I mean, it's been proven people have happiness set points, but that's not a default. I mean, why stop there? You can do very specific things, like choose, and use certain techniques.
Tell us some of them.
Sure, of
Just
course.
give some people a couple of hints.
Of course. One of them is when you're about to blow and you're in line with a rude sales clerk or on hold forever, there's a technique that is called the back technique. I developed it with thousands of clients. And what you do is you breathe. And
that's B. Okay.
You acknowledge what you're feeling. I want to strangle her.
I want to kill her.
Nothing wrong with that.
Totally.
No.
C, except the jail time.
Right.
C is choose. Choose what you want to have happen. And K is kick into gear and act on that choice. And what it does is that breathing, starting with the B, it buys you that half of a second to get the reptilian brain, leaping across the desk at your boss reaction out of the way, and it lets the sophisticated part of your brain come in and let you respond in a much better way.
And get the result you really
want.
Because you don't want to just scream and choke the person. You're going to have all kinds of ramifications from that.
Absolutely. I had a client whose daughter spilled purple nail polish all over the rug, and it was, of course, she was like, and she thought, why should I let it ruin my relationship for the week or the day with my daughter? There's no point to that.
Well, how expensive was the rug?
Well, of course, she chained her to her desk for a week, but that's okay.
That's right.
But I think especially during this time of the year too, everything's heightened, isn't it? I mean, on normally we have a relatively high stress level, but especially now, right?
It is, and if you're your stock portfolio is devalued 50% and you're on hold for 1,000 minutes on the phone, or your mother-in-law is staying 3 extra days at the holidays. Those things can trigger...
You just lost your job, perhaps?
Exactly.
A lot of people have.
And it can trigger that automatic response of, kick the dog, snap at your wife, whatever. And really it is truly choosing how you respond. One of the things that I have people do who are really new to this idea of choosing how to respond is I have them go and take my Joy Quotient quiz.
Give us one.
It's on, and people can go to getalifethatdoesn'tsuck.com.
Of course they can.
Of course they can. And so one example, it measures the difference between what you think and what you do. Between the life you're living and a life you would
want
love.
to live,
Right.
Yeah.
So, and then it gives you ways to get there, to close the gap. So one example would be, I'll just pick one. Show up, be present. Okay? So how important is it to you to show up and be present?
Yes.
Well, in our line of work, you have to be.
You better be.
Okay,
so very important, right? And how often, I'll say not at work, how often do you actually do that? Do you find yourself maybe at the dinner table a little distracted, or in a conversation with someone.
That's not your thing.
That's like living in the moment.
Right.
Yeah, living in the now.
She's a great listener, and you remember everything.
And listening is the key.
Look how you're doing it.
And I
You're
drive
an active
people
listener.
crazy.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to miss out on life. You also
Yeah.
hit a point in life where you realize you're running out.
Right.
You know, and that can
Right.
be a great blessing because you start to realize you're wasting an awful lot of very valuable time.
And it's about the choice. I mean, again, it's about, because we just have a couple of seconds left, but you're saying it's about making a choice. You have two options when something bad happens, and you can choose the wrong one, which is erupting like Mount Etna.
And you'll
or you
gain
can,
nothing from
or you can
that.
take a breath.
Absolutely. I mean, you feel better for 3 seconds, and then you
Yeah.
have so much regret. So to get out of regret and disappointment and anger and all of those
Stress,
things that are so upsetting, choose something different.
Well,
Get a
I
life
just feel
that
better
doesn't
having
suck.
had you here this morning, Michelle.
Thanks, Michelle. We
It's
appreciate
really
it.
My
specific
pleasure.
stuff that really helps.
Thank
Because
you.
nobody wants a life that sucks.
No one does. And again, the book is called Get a Life That Doesn't Suck.